we are able to create our first script. I would call this script data collector .py. For this, we of course need some imports. Import OS, import requests. This would need our first import. Okay. I didn't activate the env. Source env being activated. Now we are working with our virtual environment, and now it shouldn't be any problem to insert requests because pip is already provided in the virtual environment. What I don't understand right now, I just installed it and it doesn't change anything. Okay. I would expect we don't use the right environment. Yeah, we don't use the right environment. So we have still been on the global Python environment. And because of this, when we installed the dependency requests, it didn't change anything in the developing file because, like I said, the compiling engine, Python engine, which was referenced with this file, didn't have requests. Like I said, it was the global one, and in this we don't install requests yet. Like I said, because we're working mainly with other virtual environments. The time import time data. This we will need to get the specific date of yesterday and the day prior yesterday. This variable we will use to allow log messages. The next variable will be our base URL when it comes to calling the Moonchain API, the stats API, moonchain.com/API/v1. And now we can already write the first function. It's just an easy one, just for giving out our log messages. For this, we will work with an f string because, of course, we want to create a string with a variable, which would be a message. And if you want to add a string with a variable, you have to choose f strings. Here we get to the next function. For this, we provide the target directory as a parameter. If not, rest path dot access target. So with this, we check if the output directory in the root directory is already created. If this is not the case, we will create it with this function. With this, we get our dates. The date of yesterday and prior yesterday, like I already said, because this is the data which we will call to create our report. Of course, it doesn't make really sense to call data from the current day because the current day is not done yet. And it could be that after we done the report for today, important parts of the metrics would change after we did the report. Yeah, I forgot the daytime, the importing of daytime. 7 minutes. TM. Yes. And with this done, we are now able to create the function we just called, which would be generate a report. For sure, for this we have to provide the target year as well as the target date. You've already seen this. Please don't wander around about the strange syntax I just used here in the parameter. This is just code reference on how we can set up the date we want to use. That's not the one I used yesterday. Yeah, here we can see it. So for one example, we used large W. So in this case, it would take the week number. No, we did large Y, sorry, not W. Just wondered when I said here. So this would be the full year, I expect. Yeah, and if you are more interested in this specific part, you can find it just by googling. So we are now create our first log print. Once again, as an f string. So we take the current date for this, not yesterday or something else. And with this, we would be able to create our file name. For sure, if you want to write something into a file, at first you need to create this file. Here you can see what I was referencing to when it comes to using the f string to be able to add a variable into a string and combine them together to print the normal string and to add variable into this. Yeah, to be able to not only hard code the string, but to create a modular string in this case, which can show different dates. Yeah. Okay, no, but I forget something. CSV, sure, we need the data form for ls path exists. File name. And then we remove it. Small log print. And now open our file. We'll open it to write in it. We open it as a CSV file. Oh, no, as a CSV file. Out file. CSV writer. Here, the CSV.writer, we need to provide the output file, which we linked with CSV file. The limiter in this case will be the tabulator. For this, we use this code. And we start creating the file with providing our keywords for the specific data fields which we want to use. Type, date, item, and value. All these fields which we will. And next we will recognize data. We'll use this target date. Counts. So with this, we are calling the information from the API and write it into our CSV file. I would just copy the next lines because they are just nearly the same and only differentiate in the values which get called or which get written into the CSV file additionally to the called data or to explain the called data. Yes, our next function will be just a helping function. With this, we check if something is an array. This we do by checking if the object has the attribute length. And if that's the case, we would return false. And otherwise, we will return true. Like I said, it's just an easy helping function. So we should write it like it's intended. And now we will focus on the get lines data. For this, we have to provide the void file, the parameter, the target date, AID, a diagonal and a unit. Once again, use this nice date format. We'll create our URL from linking the base URL with the other necessary parts for calling the data. So this will be our URL. The first part for sure, stats.moonchain.com/API/v1. This will be the URL. Then the next step will be /lines, AID, will be active account. In this case, once more, we use a log print. Of course, once again, with an F string. This just helps us to verify that our script is doing what it should do, because these log prints are printed out of the terminal. I would expect if you use log print, you would also be able to create a log file in which all of them will be written. But in this case, we don't use this possibility. Here we check now if the connection could be initiated. This would be checked by the status code 200 every time says that the requested site could be loaded properly. From the response, we load the content of the response into JResponse. And then we will print this with the JSON dumps function. Now we check the data which we loaded into the JSON. So if the keyword chart cannot be found in a JResponse answer we got from Moonchain API, then we got an invalid response. Yes, here we use our help function to check if, in the case the chart is there, we also check if the chart is an array, which would be necessary to not only get one value, but all the values we're calling for. Array. And we also will check if the data of cherry spores and chart keyword is 0. If this is the case, we also won't get any data. And in the case we get some data, we iterate through our array. Once again, check if the data is in the form that we expected. This we will do a second time, but not for date, but for value. And now we can convert the date, which I read in from the response in the data and format we prefer. Once again, epsilon minus percentage m minus percentage small d, large d minus percentage large p minus percentage large y. We get to the string value. And this, of course, we have to read in from a value key. And with this, we will add the mxc bytes mxc equal, which I told you about here in the getLines function. Report diagonal data and the title string value. Nice. With this done, we are now able to test our first script, or to finalize it, I would say, to be able to test it. I hope I don't have that much typos, which would take some time to find them, especially if Python don't recognize it as typos. So, and with this done, we should be able to run our first script. In the next script, I will reference to the env file, .env file. Please don't wonder, I don't open this in terms of the workshop. I just use it this way to be able to call the API keys without showing them while the workshop is ongoing, just for description. So here we can see now that the script is working like it is intended. We are now calling the data from the Moonchain blockchain from the 9th and 10th of October. Here you can see in which data format we provided these data. So at first we have the type field for, okay, it's the Moonchain report. Then we have the date. We have an item for the specific data item. And after this, we have the value. Like I said, in terms, we use MXC or Gray or something like this, or bytes. This will get linked to the specific value, which I showed you here.